The story begins with a man named Santi who was sleeping in his van. Suddenly, he woke up and a policewoman named Begona refused to let him park his van. After this, Santi reached late for work and his boss Romeo fired him by giving him the remaining salary. Before leaving, Santi also had to clean the bathrooms of the ship. Later, when Santi was going in his car, his petrol also got over. After which he somehow reached the gas station where he met his friend Pedro. Santi told him that he was going to get divorced from his wife Maddie. Later, when he went to meet the lawyer told him and Maddie that after the divorce, their property will be divided in half. Maddie said that she wants a divorce as soon as possible, but the lawyer said that it will take a few months. After coming out from there, a woman selling lottery tickets called Santi, and Santi also bought a lottery ticket for fun. He kept the ticket in his cigarette box and left. Then in the evening, Santi reached his college reunion party where he met his friends Pedro and Marcos. Then Santi saw Maddie laughing with a man named Mario. Later, Maddie told him that Mario is the owner of the supermarket where she works. But Santi got very jealous of this and went to his friends. Anyway, later Santi came home and threw away the cigarette box because he had completely forgotten about the lottery. The next morning, Santi was taking a bath while listening to the radio when he heard the news of the lottery. Suddenly, he remembered about the ticket, and he ran to search for the cigarette box in the garbage. Finally, he found the ticket and Santi jumped with joy because he had won the lottery. Santi immediately called Maddie, but he did not pick up the phone. Now Santi went to meet Maddie, but there he saw his wife. After this, Santi went to the bank to withdraw his winning amount of 25 million euros, but soon came out in panic. Then the bank manager Damien followed him, but Santi left in his car. Suddenly, Santi turned back and saw that Damien was in the car. Damien advised him to use his winning amount in a proper way. Then while having lunch, Damien asked Santi that, "Yes, brother, how is everything going at home?" Then Santi told him that, "Brother, I am going to get divorced." On this, Damien said that after divorce, he will have to give half of the winning amount to Maddie. That is why he asked Santi to hide this thing from Maddie. Santi did not want to hide this thing from his wife at all, but later when he saw Maddie with Mario again, he got very angry. Then Damien came there, and finally Santi told this thing to everyone. Agreed to hide. After a few days, Santi went to meet Mario because Mario had offered him a job. They had a little argument, but in the end Santi got the job of packing goods. After this, Santi made a living with the lottery money. He bought nice clothes and things. Then he came home and hid all the things and started dancing with joy. But suddenly his wife came back home. Santi tried to hide his new clothes and watch. But Maddie suspected that something was wrong. Well, in the evening when Santi went to eat in a 5-star hotel, he saw a beautiful girl named Christina there. Then both of them smiled at each other. Next morning when Santi woke up, he was late for work. Now he somehow reached the supermarket and apologized to his partner Tanya. Later, Maddie asked him where he was last night. Then Mario came there and scolded Santi. But Maddie handled the situation. Next day, Santi met a surfer named Erich because now he also wanted to learn surfing. For the next few days, Santi practiced in the sea and learned a lot. One night, Santi got a call from Pedro and Marcos. Santi showed them surfing lessons. He told them about learning surfing, but they thought that Santi is talking nonsense because he is depressed because learning surfing is a hobby of rich people. They called Santi to meet them, but Santi refused, which surprised them a lot. The next day, Santi went to buy Romal's ship with Damien. Romal could not believe that the man whom he had fired a few days ago was buying his ship. To take revenge, Santi bought that ship and made Romal clean the bathroom. Later, Damien and Santi were preparing to buy more things when suddenly they saw Pedro and Marcos coming from the front. They were surprised to see Santi's new clothes, but Santi lied that these clothes were for his new job. Then Pedro and Marcos told him that these days he has started ignoring them, and they left from there angrily. Meanwhile, Santi and Damien reached Santi's house after having a nice meal. When Santi went inside, he saw that Maddie's parents Laura and Miguel had come for dinner. Santi sat down with them at the dinner table, but was having a hard time eating. Soon his stomach got upset due to eating too much, and he ran to the bathroom. Laura asked Maddie about his married life. Maddie lied that everything was fine. Then when Santi came back, Miguel saw Santi's expensive watch. Santi lied that it was fake, and it was very cheap. Miguel said that, "Son, it looks good. Have you bought one for me too?" Suddenly, Santi's phone started ringing, but he did not pick up the phone. When Maddie asked him to pick up the phone, Sandy hurriedly told Maddie's parents that they were getting a divorce. Later, when Sandy was going back from there, he saw his friends Pedro and Marcos drinking alcohol in a cheap bar. Well, when he reached the hotel, he saw his friends Pedro and Marcos drinking alcohol in a cheap bar. When Pedro was sitting and playing with his expensive gadgets, he felt very lonely. He had so much money, but no one to share his happiness with. Then Sandy called Damien and told him about a secret plan. The next day, when Pedro was at the gas station, a beautiful woman came and praised his beauty. Later, Pedro told Marcos that he had got a modeling offer. Then Sandy came there and sat alone. But then Marcos and Pedro called him. They also told Sandy about Pedro's modeling, but Sandy was not surprised. Later, Marcos reached his home where he was taking care of his 2 small children alone. Then his wife Lorena came and told him that his distant uncle had left a lot of property for them. Later, Damien and Sandy talked together, and it is revealed that Sandy was behind all this. Both of them were playing golf when suddenly their eyes fell on Mario. Then Damien told Sandy that Mario is just pretending to take a loan from the bank. Actually, he wants to sell the supermarket, but because of this, everyone will lose their jobs. That is why he is pretending to be good, that I am trying very hard to save it. Then Mario saw Sandy and came there and asked him why he did not go to work. There in the supermarket, Tanya asked Maddie if the supermarket is really going to close, but Maddie said that these are all rumors. Then Sandy tried to tell Maddie that Mario is really going to sell the supermarket, but then Mario came there and told Maddie that he saw Sandy playing golf today. This made Maddie angry that he does not even give a rupee at home and is playing golf outside. Wow, he has hobbies like a prince. As soon as Sandy came out of the supermarket, Marcos and Pedro reached a shiny supercar. They took Sandy along and went for a drive. Sandy did not like this because Marcos was spending money on these things instead of fulfilling the needs of his family. But then Marcos said, "Did your father give me money? It is my wish. I will do whatever I want." Finally, Sandy told them that actually this car was bought with his money. But both of them did not believe him. Then suddenly Marcos could not control the car and it fell straight down the hill. During this, Sandy, he shouted and told everyone the secret of his lottery well. After some time, he somehow managed to swim out. The next morning, Maddie got a call from Mario, seeing which Sandy got very jealous, and he also called Christina to make Maddie jealous. That night, Maddie went on a date with Mario and Sandy with her, but neither of them enjoyed it at all. Later, when both of them reached home at the same time, both of them pretended to be happy with their new companions. Then the next day, Mario called Maddie and called him to the supermarket and then told everyone that the supermarket is closing. He lied that he tried a lot to save the supermarket. Maddie became very sad due to all this, but then Sandy asked her to go for dinner to cheer her up. When Maddie returned home, Sandy had cleaned the whole house and also kept Maddie's favorite food ready. Then, while talking, Sandy said that he could not believe that both of them were together. On hearing that they were getting divorced, Maddie realized that both of them had made mistakes. They apologized to each other and finally kissed each other. After this, Sandy happily told Maddie about the lottery. Maddie did not believe him. She thought Sandy was joking, so she went out in anger. But then Sandy took her to the shed and showed her all the expensive things that he had bought. Then Maddie asked her why she hid this fact till now, but Sandy somehow convinced her by changing the topic. After this, Sandy and Marcos went to see Pedro's modeling show, but people did not like Pedro at all. Pedro was disappointed by this. Then Marcos and Pedro accused Sandy of ruining their lives. Poor Sandy kept thinking how he ruined his life. The next day, Sandy called Damien and settled the accounts with him and never met him again. Promised to meet Maddie's friend Lorraine, asked her to file a case against Sandy so that Maddie could get half of her lottery money. But then Maddie saw that Sandy had himself sent half of the money to her bank account, and then she got the divorce papers. But Maddie realized that she still loves Sandy, and she also got a call that the supermarket is opening again. When Maddie reached there, Tanya told her that someone has bought the entire supermarket, which means that now they will not lose their jobs. Maddie went to give Mario the good news, but then it was revealed to her that Mario was selling this store. Well, then Damien came there and said that Mario is fired from the job, and from now on Maddie will be the director of the supermarket. Maddie became very happy, and she started looking for Sandy. Sandy was at the airport at this time, and Maddie reached there looking for him. After searching for a long time, she finally found Sandy, and Maddie slapped her hard. That, "Where was the dog going, leaving me?" And then both of them kissed each other. After this, everything became good in their life, and both of them started enjoying. If you liked the video, then like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.